Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Friday. We got NBA matchups, we got college basketball battles, and of course, the Steam Report. Get you lined up for the weekend. Busy day, busy next couple days, and a bunch of sports. Dan, who we got on today's show?
Yeah, we got Gianni kicking us off as we always do here on a Friday. We'll see what kind of moves we have going and take a look at his Steam sheet, of course, in the Steam Report. Teddy Covers is back, baby. That's right. We missed him last week. He's feeling better. He's ready to rock for you guys. He's got Cavs and Pistons coming your way. Nuggets, Thunder, 2 free plays in that one. And the resounding return, Andy, of the Sell Me segment. I think I have a fun game for you guys to break down and sell me on. Give folks a chance to win a free 3-day flex pass here. Marco's going to shut things down for us. He's got a bet in the Michigan and Illinois game and the Akron Zips taking on the Kent State Golden Flashes. Marco's going to let you know how to bet those. Andy's got free plays. I got WTF LFG. Andy, we are rocking and rolling into a loaded weekend of action.
Yeah, we're going to give away a 3-day pass from yesterday's action. But I gave out 2 basketball games, said if I go 0-2 or 2-0, we'll give away a 3-day pass. Well, hours after the show, the Clippers ruled out Kawhi Leonard and John Collins. And then the line
the NBA for you.
Yeah, and then the line moves to -8.5. And what happens? They lose by 6. I'm counting that as a win for the purposes of the show. So did not go on my record. But we're giving away a 3-day pass. So we got a winner from that one because the first game wasn't an easy winner, but we get over the total. So we're giving away 3-day passes here. Let's do you want to do WTF LFG now?
We'll do it right out of the gate. Although Andy, I will say, you were talking to Gianni right before we started the show, and sometimes there's something that known as just you can't please anyone. Literally back to back, and we're using our one F word of the week. Can we stop doing these plays, man? I don't get them. So Debo doesn't want winning plays. He can't bet them. The comment directly below says, please give me more winning plays in lacrosse. So you can't please everyone, Andy. And what we'll do here today for you folks, we had the Premier Lacrosse League Championship Series kicking off tonight. We like the under total 2-point goals, and it promptly moved from 6.5 to 5.5. It's still a lean if you want to play the under, but that 6.5 number was a really bad one out of the gate. So the action that we have for you, Andy, we're going to take a look at a marquee game here tonight. It's at 4 p.m. Eastern time, so you got time to get to it. It's Princeton taking on Syracuse, and we're taking the home dog in Princeton. Andy, I'll keep it short because if you want the full breakdown, head on over. All access clients to Andy got this breakdown 2 days ago because we've liked this play so much it's been up. But basically, Andy, if the Syracuse Orange were to win this game, it would be historic because it would be the first time that Syracuse has won a game outdoors to start the season. The month of February, they haven't won a game on the road playing outside. They're used to playing in a dome, obviously, since 2003, Andy. 2003 was insane. The last time this team won an outdoor game. Also, this is another playoff revenge that we have done a really good job with. First, we cashed on Syracuse with their playoff revenge against Maryland. We faded them. We got the 14th team in the nation beating the number 1 when we faded Syracuse with playoff revenge. Well, Princeton was knocked out of the NCAA tournament last year in an overtime game, 19-18. Back and forth affair. That's how Syracuse took down Princeton. Princeton's going to be prime, man. I think they win this game outright. Take the 1.5 with Princeton. That's your WTF LFG, and sprinkle that money line because it is dropping as we speak, folks. Find that plus 125. Princeton getting the win over Syracuse. That's the play out of the gate for the folks.
I love it. Let's bring in Gianni and let's start talking Steam Report, talking about what's going on. It looks like everybody made weight, Gianni, so all the fights are going to be good for UFC. Where do you want to start today? And happy Friday to you, sir.
Yeah, happy Friday, man. Big weekend ahead. And, we've been really busy. Let's dive in right away to college basketball. That's been the busiest. And I've already released 3 premiums to subscribers. That's already out there. Trusting my power ratings. So far, over the last 113 plays, we're 62% in college basketball. So as soon as they line up their moves with my ratings, we fire. Here are some of the moves we bet on already that have been in the sharp accounts. 855 Quinnipiac -8, 857 Siena at a pick'em, 870 St. Peter's -7.5, 877 Old Dominion -1. Then another group came in and took Georgia State plus the 2. A lot of that happened yesterday. Difference of opinion on a lot of these college basketball sides. 865 Dayton plus 3.5. And finally, 879 Michigan -1, which goes against my power ratings, which had the Illinois side, as we talked about yesterday, as the 1.5 point favorite. So now where it sits, I would be looking to bet Illinois. The problem is I have to respect that sharp money on Michigan because I haven't been able to confirm that it was a numbers play or any kind of manipulation or, anything like that. So unless I do, I'll have to sit that one out because, like I said, my numbers show Illinois, and wise guys are on the Michigan side, which Michigan has had the tougher strength of schedule. Michigan's got the better defense. Offensively, they're equal. Illinois is a tad bit better, but it's the home court advantage, which gives them the edge, because if you put them on a neutral court, it would actually be Michigan who would be favored by about 1.5 points. So that's what I have to dig into. Is that the reason? Should Illinois not be getting that home court advantage? But if you look at the series, they've won 9 of the last 10 against Michigan. So that's where I find difficulty. Obviously, that home court matters, and it's mattered for them this year. They're 13-2 there. But, maybe Michigan being undefeated on the road and maybe with their ranking, that's why they're now the favorite. But public money, it's pretty much split a little heavier on Michigan. Not surprising. But, yeah, that's pretty much what I got in college basketball so far.
We're seeing anything in NBA for tonight? I know we got some injuries. Is there any action in that sport?
No, nothing. The only thing I did have was Memphis at +5.5 and +5. And then the Detroit and Cleveland, that got dummied. The over got dummied overnight. And then they came back this morning and steamed that one under. I actually like the under in Cleveland and Detroit and almost released it because it does look like it got dummied up overnight. And they came in on the under 227. That probably should light up because I see it on my DMs now. And the only other thing that stuck out was Oklahoma City, but at 7.5, and that's not going to be there. I didn't see it anywhere. And I saw, I guess DraftKings had 7.5 for a while. But I couldn't get access to that. So Oklahoma City -7.5 also were the only things that stuck out in NBA.
I haven't seen much movement on UFC. I'm pretty surprised. Normally there's at least a couple fights with some big line moves. These things look rock solid at this point, even with weigh-ins. Are you seeing anything?
Here's why. Because once you get into that big, heavy chalk, the movement doesn't mean much. Here's what I mean. If you take a -700, the break even, what -700 means is that the break even is 87.5%. So when you see a -700, that's the betting market saying this team should win this 87.5%. Well, a -900 is break even is 90%. So -700, 87.5, -900 is 90%. So you go from -700 to -900, and that's only a 2.5% adjustment to implied win probability. But when you go from even money to -200, so that minus that 200 difference, you're going from even, which is 50-50 proposition, to -200, 67% proposition. So that change is 17% in implied win probability. So the same, you're moving from 700 to 900. So you have to put up 900 now to win 100 instead of 700. But the change is only 2.5% in implied win probability. But if you go from even money to minus 200, now you got to put up 200 to win 100 as opposed to 100 to win 100. So that's the big difference. And that's why there's not much of a adjustment, because like you'd have to move it from a minus 700 to like a minus 1,500 just for it to move 6%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
From a minus 700 to minus 1,500 is only a 7%, 6% change in implied win probability. That's why once you get over that 400 range, the movement means very little. Even if you see big swings, it hasn't really changed implied win probability much. That's why I tell bettors, like if you liked it at minus 600, you should like it at minus 700, 750. Nothing's changed for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm on the flip side of that coin, hoping to get the plus side of some of these dogs, but we'll see.
I mean, it really does go to show how bad some of these fighters are, that there hasn't been a lot of buyback on these massive plus money. Like, I mean, it's like, wow, I'm getting a plus 525 in UFC, and you're like, oh, it's Eric Silva. Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Like, you're like, wait, I could get a plus 700. That means he's only got to win that fight 12.5% of the time. So if he wins 15%, I placed a great bet, and I can't even get there in MMA
yes.
at the UFC level. Like, because you got guys, the guys should have a 5% chance just because his opponent, it could be like like we call like an outlier, black swan. He could wake up with a headache. He could have a fight with his girlfriend, whatever, his boyfriend, if it's in, Hooker, just joking with Dan Hooker out there. Regardless, and that could ruin their day. You don't, so like even there, like no one's 100%. The highest we should be able to get is 95. So we still with these guys, we can't even get to like where a plus 700, 800 offers value. And yeah, that just shows you what we talked about prior, that with Paramount now and with them putting it on every single week and not really the pay-per-view model, they're having to put a lot of fights together and the parity just isn't there.
What if he wakes up and his side chick goes on social media?
You don't know.
And says he
what happens? I don't know. Now there's value on the dog.
Probably not going to fight the same as you would have the day prior. I'll tell you that.
This whole card too, the late great Dave Sharapan always used to refer to these lines as they're just putting up like FU lines. You know what I mean? Like they know they have to take action on it. You know what I mean? They know people are going to bet on it, but it's like, okay, you want these huge favorites that are going to kick the shit out of these guys? FU, here's minus 700. Good luck.
Go tie them up. Yep, that's what they're saying. You're going to parlay us. It's exactly what they're doing, bro. You nailed it. Because they know you're going to parlay. Like no recreational bettor is going to go up and bet 900 to win 100, 700 to win 100, 600 to win 100. Now all of a sudden they put up $2,200 to win $300 on 3 straight bets. That's not happening. They're going to tie those 3 up into a $200 parlay, $300 parlay. They're not betting $2,200 to win $300. They're betting $300 to win $2,200. That's how they want to approach it. Most casual bettors, recreational bettors, call them what you will. And I don't blame them. Why would they want to do that? So with that said, knowing that as a bookmaker, I'm not going to give you a good ROI on your parlay. I'm going to make sure you get the worst odds possible already placed in a negative EV bet. So if anything, they're like, we want you to take the absolute worst of it. So if you do happen to get lucky, at least it doesn't hurt us too badly. Because again, you could turn around and cash a lot of money line parlays this weekend. Again, last week we had 10 of 13 fights with the favorite winning. When 10 favorites win, there's a lot of 4, 5, 6, and 7 fighter parlay tickets that get cashed. And they get tired of doing that because as we head into this week's UFC, I'll tell you exactly where we're at. We've had 50 fights, 39 favorites, 11 underdogs, 20 finishes, wow. 30 decisions. So where are we heading into the 5th event? Favorites are way ahead and decisions are also way ahead. So we should expect some dogs and some finishes to start evening up. Again, that doesn't mean it's going to happen next week or over the next 2 or 3 events, but we do know no matter what kind of statistically significant sample size you take of UFC fights, you will get close to 50-50 on finishes, and you will get close to 65-35 favorites and dogs. It's always been like that. That's how it's going to remain. So, use that as you will, but it will regress and progress towards the mean. Markets always do that.
I think this card, we have a lot of finishes. Coming off of a card with so many decisions.
This may be one of them, man. This may line up for you perfect, Andy, because you do method of victory. Those kind of prompts may be the way to approach this with some of these favorites.
Yeah, I'm treading lightly, but that's definitely how I'm going to approach this card. You have to. You have to. It's like, minus 700.
I'm going to do it that way too. You're absolutely right. But there'll be some mispricings there too, because the narrative may be like, oh, he only finishes, if it's a finish, then it'll definitely be a knockout. But ground and pounds turn into rear naked chokes a lot, like that could happen. So we'll see.
Real quick, VR2, we had some folks messaging in, some folks on Twitter as well. I mean, I know this one more time, this UFC card is brutal. Are there any of the underdogs that maybe at least stand out to you as, okay, here's one you can maybe take your shot on? Any UFC underdog that's worth eyeing in a landmine of a card? Great question. And speaking of Twitter real fast, side note, my Twitter got hacked yesterday. I do not have control of it. The person that went in there, they changed the email and all that. So I'm having a huge headache. It was my mistake not having it better secured like everything else I have. I do not have access to my Twitter. I have my PA right now trying to get that back, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. With that said, one of the sharp bettors that I respect a lot bet 2 dogs, actually. They bet the main event. They took Loner Kavanaugh, and I think it makes sense. He's a lot younger than Moreno, and he's coming off a knockout loss. So I think if you're ever going to bet him where you think he may be undervalued, this is the spot, because there's a little bit of recency bias involved when you're coming off a knockout to a Charles Johnson who just got knocked out himself against Alex Perez. So Johnson's lost 2 of his last 3 fights. His only win was against this Kavanaugh kid. So against Moreno, I think he's being undervalued, especially with Moreno in Mexico in a 5-round fight. And even though he's coming off a loss, that's against Tetsuro Taira, which, again, he's on such a heater. Nobody's really going to fault Moreno for that. So he likes Kavanaugh as the dog. And then in the women's bout, where was she?
Is it Macy Chiasson or Taryn, the short notice replacement?
Yeah, Chiasson. There you go. I against Aylin Perez, Macy Chiasson. She's coming off back-to-back losses, both decisions to Vieira and Santos. And obviously, Aylin Perez is coming in on fire, twerking her way into 5 straight wins. She's the fan favorite for sure. But Chiasson, he thinks, is a little bit undervalued. I haven't piggybacked either of these. I usually do. When I have a slight lean his way and he bets it, I do respect his opinion, but I just didn't really have a lean. I did a little bit on the main event. I kind of thought it was dog or pass with Loner Kavanaugh, but I kind of feel like this is a showcase for Moreno in Mexico. Like they don't want or not want something to happen, but it almost feels like for Moreno, this is an opportunity for him to be back in that picture where if he wins this fight, he wins a main event in Mexico. And then if you zoom back, he'll have 1, 3, or 4 fights and he's back in the mix at flyweight. So it almost feels like this is a fight he should be able to win. That kind of has me pausing. But being a value guy, obviously, I do think it's dog or pass. But we'll see if I get to the window with it.
I actually like Macy Chiasson as a live bet. If she can stuff any takedowns in the first round, just stuff one, Macy. Don't end up on your back and guard like you do every single fight. Do something, Macy.
What do you think of David Martinez and Marlon Vera? Is Vera going to get public money? Like I know he's lost a couple fights now, 3 in a row. But they were to Figueiredo, O'Malley, and Zahabi. He's a big dog, man. I
just
think
always
I like Martinez. That's the problem.
Yeah, I like Martinez too. It's a Marlon verified. I always have something on Fight Goes the Distance. That's the only way I ever play that guy.
Great point.
Just automatic Vera goes the distance. Put it in your parlays, rinse and repeat.
So that might be taking David Martinez by decision may be the way to go.
Whoever wins that fight, take him by decision. There's no reason
because you get him down to minus 170 from getting a
$3
minus 350 down to 170. Not bad.
Yeah, they're both fairly low volume. Vera doesn't have the explosiveness anymore. Martinez. Talk about the gene pool. Dan, do you know this guy Martinez? He's an awesome UFC fighter and a doctor.
Oh, smart man.
Yeah.
A full-time doctor.
Dan, you just talked me into a bet. You just talked me into a bet.
It's what we do on this show, Gianni.
Yeah, Martinez by decision. Yeah, anything minus 200 or better, it's a good bet. He wins this way 2 out of 3 times for sure.
I have a very random question here, and somebody asked about it randomly, and I didn't even really know you could do this. Do you guys, or do you know people that bet on spring training?
Yeah,
they have lines for every game.
I have. The other day, I had the under in the Mets game, under 11.5 in cash day. And I was going to send it to subscribers, but I'm like, do I really need customer service getting 18 questions? I got 11. What do I do with it?
That's a good point.
So I'm like, it's cool.
How do you handicap? Do you even know?
I don't. I'm not a lunatic. Yeah, I just piggyback what I see in the accounts. I do baseball. Like I that's the one sport I do enjoy handicapping once I have data. So for the first month, I piggyback what those guys do because they usually do really well in the beginning, especially the first half of their baseball season is always the best. So I'll piggyback the first month, but then I'll start adding a lot of my stuff also with baseball. But yeah, when it comes to spring training, I don't do any of that. And I think most of it has to do with how long they think a pitcher's going to go, or if one team's more motivated, that kind of stuff. They'll find a nugget of information. This guy's not going to play, and all of a sudden they'll bet it because I'll see it like hit every account. So it's one of those that goes into the bot that everyone got the information and they're all betting the same side. And books hate it because they're not going to get any action on the other side. They're not writing anything in spring training. So it's you against the bookie. And if you ever want to piss a bookie off, just do that.
If you ever want to piss off the bookie, just do that. All right. Well, nobody sign up for any crypto things on Gianni's Twitter account.
It's not financial advice, but I'm just throwing it out there. You probably don't want to piggyback any of that crypto advice.
All right. Well, good luck with that. What do you have up for everybody on Friday?
I've got action, bro. I really do. I haven't put up 4% that we have at WagerTalk in college basketball because I've been running so good in college basketball over at Sports Memo for only $7. So that's there for tonight, Friday night play college basketball up for $7 at Sports Memo. I have the Steam sheet up already. There's 6 soccer bets in there, soccer for tonight and tomorrow. There's college basketball, there's NBA and NHL as well. And then I have 4 premiums already released, 3 in college basketball, 1 in NBA. Probably going to package those up as well. UFC package is also there for tomorrow. And I think the second 5%'s coming. Waiting for those Saturday lines, but I have a matchup already power rated that I'm so sure they're going to put out a recency bias number. And if we do, we'll have a big bet again like last Saturday. So big weekend. Let's do some damage. Stay off my Twitter, or better yet, attack that dude. Keep telling him. Keep tweeting him. We know it ain't you. We know it ain't you. So, yeah, help.
All right, Gianni. Have a great weekend. Thanks very much. Have a big UFC card, college basketball. Good luck. We'll see you Monday.
Best of luck, boys.
All right. Sorry about the darts play, guys. Yesterday, we've been fading Stephen Bunting, and we're going to keep fading him. He left his body yesterday, Dan. He won the entire night. He couldn't win a match, and all of a sudden he wins the entire night, waxes everybody. So we'll get back after it. Yeah, it's our first loss of the Premier League, so apologize for that one. But yeah, we'll have one client play every single week. So looking to hit about 60-65% at the end of the season with that one. So let's bring in Teddy. We got to get our NBA fix in. Teddy, how are you?
I'm doing great, but I just invested all my money in Gianni's crypto.
Oh, shit. You too? Oh, man. Oh.
Don't click links.
No, ever. Guess what? The person who DM'd you on Twitter, they're not in the running for podcast of the year. I don't know if you guys have been getting that one, the random.
I've got that one.
They're not in the running. Don't click the link, people. Yeah.
So Teddy, I always like to talk NBA with you. Any thoughts of things you've seen? Most teams 3-4, some are 5 games out of All-Star break. Teams momentum, teams fading. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm a little worried with their injury situation. So what are some teams you got your eye on these days?
So certainly when you're talking about this stretch right out of the All-Star break, handful of teams. Toronto's a team I've got my eye on right now. A Raptors team. Darko at the beginning of the year said it's going to take us about 40 games to figure out where we're at. They're about 55, 60 games in now, and they figured out where they're at. The Raptors, in my mind, a team that's a little bit undervalued. The most fascinating thing about this time of the season in the NBA, though, is the tanking teams. I like to take advantage. This is a time of year in the association where I'm very comfortable laying points. And some of the tanking teams, even when they try, it doesn't matter. They can try hard. Your Pacers tried hard last night. But of course, when you're playing without Nembhard and Siakam in the lineup, it's trying hard isn't going to get you a whole lot of wins against quality opposition. So that's my biggest theme of this time of year is fade the teams that don't want to win.
Yeah, I love what the Pacers are doing. Try hard for a few quarters and then mail it in and get your doors blown off in the second half.
Last night I had a 5% big ticket, and I don't have a lot of this. My fourth one all year, 4-0 with those 4 so far this season, the NBA for what it's worth. But the concept was, here's Chicago, and they're gonna fight for a little while, but they ain't gonna fight for 4 quarters. Some of these, you're not laying first half numbers, you're laying full game numbers because there's a competitive element to it. But after halftime down the stretch, the teams that want to lose are largely finding ways to lose.
Absolutely. Let's get into a couple games for real. And of course, at the end, we're going to do Sell Me, where Teddy and I get handed a game and handed a team. I think it's going to be I think we're each going to have a bad team to talk about. So we're 2 tanking teams playing each other screams. That's going to be the game on Sell Me. But 2 teams not tanking, Cavaliers and Pistons. I got to tell you, I was like, wow, traded for James Harden. And then I watched him and I was like, I actually really like the fit for Harden there. He doesn't need to do everything. And now he's got an injury. Donovan Mitchell's got an injury. And that's why you're seeing this Detroit minus 6.5 with the over 227.5. Wow. What's your take on tonight's game?
Yeah. I mean, this has the potential to be a throwaway game for the Cleveland Cavaliers, because if you put these 2 teams at full strength, this line's a lot closer to pick them than the 6/6.5 we're seeing right now on the Odds Logic live odds screen. It's mostly 6s out there. And there are a couple of 5.5s as well. DK, Bet, MGM, 5.5 as we speak. But when we think about situational spots, this is Cleveland's 6th game already since the All-Star break. They've already played 2 sets of back-to-backs. Now their 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights, 6th game in 9 nights. That's the NBA's most grueling scheduling stretch, and the Cavs are in the midst of it right now. And we look at the injury report for tonight, it doesn't look particularly pretty. We don't know if James Harden's going to play. He fractured his thumb the other day, and he's very questionable right now. I personally wouldn't suit him up for this one. Donovan Mitchell already ruled out for tonight. Dennis Schroeder, who's, with when Harden and Mitchell aren't 100%, Schroeder's the guy that handles the basketball. Oops. He's got dealing with an ankle sprain. He's questionable for tonight. Dean Wade, no sure thing to suit up for this evening. So Kenny Atkinson's playing the long game. The Cavs likely to have to go through Detroit in the playoffs, right? Maybe you don't show them anything. It's worth noting, sometimes we like teams off a loss. Cleveland off a loss in Milwaukee on Wednesday night on a buzzer beater. And what had Cleveland off a loss? Just 10-12 ATS. This is not the team that you say they're going to circle the wagons every time they got beat in their last outing. So we talk about the big Cleveland in this, they have to go through Detroit in the playoffs. Playoff positioning, and you're going to read a lot about it if you read. You're going to hear the pundits talking a lot about it, blah, 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 blah. From my perspective, playoff positioning discussion is only for talking heads. The players don't care. Get them in the postseason, they're fine. And frankly, the Cavs sitting in the number 4 seed right now, they'd face Detroit second round. I'd rather face Detroit second round than Boston or New York. Why move up to the number 3? So for what it's worth. The last 10 meetings between these two teams, the Pistons have won by enough of a margin to cover the number only once. So certainly from a recent history perspective, this line shows value for the Cavs. And for my parity number, it shows value for the Cavs. But I'm not convinced Cleveland shows up tonight. And, of course, we've got Detroit coming off they had a game against the Spurs in which they lost, and they bounced back last time and won. But they didn't play great in that ballgame. JB Bickerstaff, there were some good moments. We did the things we needed to do, but there were times where I felt we let them get back in the game. Our guys find a way. They do the right thing. Their hearts are in the right place. They're trying to do the things we asked them to do. We'll watch the film and move on. Worth noting, Detroit has only played 4 times since the All-Star break. 0 sets of back-to-backs. They're the much fresher team here. They're coming off a so-so showing. I think those two things matter. I don't trust Cleveland to give their A game tonight, Pistons or pass, for this better in the first of the ESPN doubleheader.
I have to agree with you 100% on that one. Makes no sense why Cleveland would put their best foot forward in this one. But after that game, do we have a banger. Nuggets and Thunder. Thunder rested some guys in the last game. Looks like they're ready to roll. Jamal Murray's questionable. Strawther probable. They'll have Jokic, though. So great game. If you're not doing anything tonight, that is an absolute game to watch. Two teams that know each other well. How do you break this one down? Okay, huge number, -8 for OKC, 234 in the over/under.
Sure. Well, OKC gets a pretty key piece of the equation back tonight. Gilgeous-Alexander back in the lineup after an extended injury absence, and that is why this number is as high as it is. Again, looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen. Mostly 8s out there right now. Total sitting in the 233.5/234 range. And guys, if you want free trial of the Odds Logic live odds screen, I use it every day. I represent it every show. It's a good product. oddslogic.com/Teddy. 7-day free trial. Check it out if you're interested. Again, oddslogic.com/Teddy. You get these line moves in real time and know which book to make your bet at in real time. So again, 233.5/234 for this one. And the injury report has kind of been the key factor for both of these two teams in recent weeks. Denver, 3 starters, 2 role players, either out or questionable. We have Aaron Gordon out, Jamal Murray and Jalen Pickett both questionable tonight. Murray missed Wednesday's game. He was sick. There's a decent chance he plays tonight. Pickett's got a bad right knee. I'm not so sure he's going to suit up. And, of course, 2 key reserves in terms of Peyton Watson and Spencer Jones. Watson out, Jones questionable, Denver still shorthanded. OKC is Shea back in the lineup after that absence, first game back tonight. And remember, that first game back, you don't expect everything to click on all cylinders. They're still going to be missing A.J. Mitchell. They're still going to be missing Jalen Williams. But that's really the only 2 contributors missing. This is as healthy as they've been in the last month. Of course, these 2 teams played in the Western Conference semifinals last year. And Denver gave Oklahoma City the toughest test the Thunder faced in any playoff series on their way to the title. The Nuggets opened the series going 5-1 against the spread in the first 6 games before losing Game 7 straight up and against the spread. In Game 7, they didn't have a whole lot of healthy bodies left. The only one meeting so far this year that came in Denver in February, Murray and Joker played. The Nuggets hit 49% from the floor. They hit 16 of 35 from three-point range, 46% from 3. And they trailed by double digits the whole second half and lost by 10 as 7-point dogs. Despite the good shooting, despite the health, that's how good OKC is. And, of course, Denver, the single best offensive team in the league this year based on offensive rating numbers. OKC, the single best defensive team in the league. So, in theory, you could say Sy and Tola related here. I'm not convinced they are. OKC just had 9 players available in the second half of their loss at Detroit. They didn't play defense in that game. The Pistons were able to play with pace, get out and run. Mark Daigneault not amused by that performance. And this sure feels like, you talked about it, Andy, when you were introducing the game. Said this is a great game to watch. We expect playoff intensity here. And when you get a regular season game that's going to be played with playoff level intensity, I look under. Denver doesn't have the numbers full season, but the last 5 games, number 4 in the NBA in defensive efficiency. The Thunder, top 10 in defensive efficiency despite all their injuries and the bad game at Detroit defensively. They're healthy today. Shea's back in the lineup. I see some offensive flow issues. Bottom line for this better, I'm looking under the total as the Nuggets play the Thunder. I'm not convinced this is one of these high-scoring up-and-down affairs. I'm expecting defense to be on center stage. So under for the Nuggets and the Thunder.
Love it. Got to agree with that. We've seen some of these big teams go head to head with each other recently, and they're starting to pick up the intensity, getting ready for the playoffs. So have to agree with the under on that one. We're gonna do sell me. Before we do that, tell everyone what you have up on Friday, and congrats on that 5% win. That was an awesome pick.
Yeah, I got there. We're up 15 in the fourth, and next thing you know, it's 3, and it's a sweat and a half. But all's well that ends well. No complaints. And of course, the NBA 5%, 100% full season this year, 39-18 since 2021. That's 68%. I don't put out a lot of them, but when I do, they've been winning. For tonight in the association, just a single best bet available on my homepage. It's a blowout. We're going to lay the points with a favorite this evening. Again, check it out, wt.buzz/TC. But I encourage you, don't buy a play. If you want to get on board, let's partner up. We got for the weekend. There's a 3-day all access pass. What, $49? Get on board and let's see if we can make some money this weekend. But obviously, the longer term packages have the more probability of success. We expect to win long term, short term. The results can go up and down. That being said, we won that 5% last night. We'll see if we can do it again tonight with a 3% best bet in the association this evening.
All right, Teddy covers. It's time for the legendary segment of Sell Me. Dan, explain how it works.
So these guys don't know it, but they're about to have to break down what I would argue is a marquee matchup here on the NBA board here today. And I assign them a side. One of them's going to have to lay it. One of them's going to have to take it. You listen to the pleas that these gentlemen make, and then you are going to decide, do you agree with Teddy or do you agree with Andy? Once you have chosen your combatant, you comment below with who you're riding with. And then if their team covers, you're winning a free 3-day flex pass. You got a chance. We choose one of those winners. So, gentlemen, here's what I got for you today. I was running down this NBA board, and then I saw a spread that I was like, oh, this is a sell me spread. And that is when a team is, let's call it, I see some 17.5, I see some 18.5. So we'll call it 18 here on the show. Celtics are 18-point favorites against the Brooklyn Nets here today. And Teddy, you're going to have to tell me why Brooklyn should be laying nearly 20 points in this, or why the Celtics should be laying nearly 20 points, excuse me. Andy, you're going to tell me why this dog is barking. I mean, if you can't at least have a back door open with 18 points, dear God. But I need to hear from you first, Teddy. The Boston Celtics laying 18 points. Sell me on that NBA side, Teddy.
Now, admittedly, the Celtics have had trouble with the Nets in recent
Not off to a
meetings.
good start.
Not going to lie. They lost straight up as 14-point favorites in November. The most recent meeting in January, Brooklyn took them to OT before Boston succumbed in that ballgame. So it's certainly been a Nets team that has given the Celtics issues so far this season. So what does that tell me? That tells me that Boston's more likely to take them a little bit more seriously tonight. And it's very hard to make money in the NBA betting on non-competitive bottom feeders. You can find reasons, oh yeah, I don't want to lay this point. I don't want to lay that price. One thing I really don't want to do January, February, March in the NBA is find the ugliest teams in the league and go, yeah, let's put my money on them tonight. What a good idea. Brooklyn is, from a talent standpoint, number 30 out of 30 NBA teams. 5 rookies getting playing time with the Nets on a night-in, night-out basis. and Boston plays with pace, they're more than capable of running up margins after halftime and maintaining those margins through the fourth quarter because they play defense as well. Now, obviously, it's not easy in the NBA to be laying 17.5, 18 points, but if you don't want the dog and you have to play the game, that gives you one choice from a side standpoint, and I don't want the dog. Celtics or pass. Clearly, for this bettor, we want no part of the Brooklyn Nets.
There's the thought process. Fool me once, cover against me once, make me lose outright once. Shame on you. So the thought is the focus will be there for Boston. I like the breakdown from Teddy. It's a lot of points, though, Andy. You know I'm an underdog guy, so sell me on arguably maybe one of the ugliest sides I've ever asked you to sell me on.
It's just too many points in an NBA game. I mean, like you said, the back door is definitely going to be open. This is a Nets team that covered this spread against San Antonio the other night. They're doing what they should do, which is lose, but they're keeping it within 3 touchdowns of this one. They lost by 9 to Dallas, lost to 11 by Atlanta, and they lost by 19 to Oklahoma City. I think Oklahoma City is a little bit better. Teddy mentioned the rookies, and that's what I love. You get motivated rookies trying to show that they deserve to be in the lineup. Michael Porter has been good. Nick Claxton coming off a pretty decent game last night. It's just way too many points. I expect them to be up going into the fourth quarter, and then to Brooklyn to kind of have some garbage points. You're going to end up probably with backups for Boston against some of the starters and backups against Brooklyn. I think they cover. It's just there's no world in which you can lay almost 20 points in an NBA. I mean, this is like a Division II versus Division I college basketball spread. These are professional athletes. At some point, pride kicks in. Brooklyn is the only way to play it.
Too many points. That's the breakdown for Andy Lang. Comment below with who you think will be covering. Make sure you include your WagerTalk username, and boom, you're entered in for a free 3-day flex pass. Best of luck. And I like this. Our man David ready to go. Just David, comment that below after the video goes live. That's how you're entered in. It's a fun one, guys. I had to. 18.5 points, 18 points is what we'll do it at. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do.
Teddy, I have to, before Teddy goes, I was kind of hoping to get the Memphis Grizzlies. Did you see who they signed the other day?
I was mulling it over.
40-year-old Taj Gibson.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's the
on the
roster.
He was in the same draft as Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's an announcer now.
Sure. But for a former player, all right, you ain't getting a better paying gig than this.
That's a great point.
It's count me in. I'll sign a 10-day deal. You know.
It was a 2-year deal. Did you see? It's 2 years. They got him locked up for this year and next year. Because when you got a chance to sign a Taj Gibson at 41 years old, you got.
Eddie, don't tempt them, because one of them might actually hit you up for a 10-year deal. If they with how some of these teams are playing at the end of this year, Teddy, they might be watching. They might Teddy Covers sign for a 10-year tryout deal.
Taj Gibson. Oh, man. So great. Well, Teddy, thank you very much. Good luck on all your plays. Have a great weekend. Can't wait to talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. And be sure to check out the new Teddy's Tips show right here on WagerTalk each and every day. 10 minutes in and out. NBA talk, angles, trends, key things I'm looking at. I'm about to record it right now. So check it out every day on WagerTalk TV, the new Teddy's Tips NBA show. In and out in 10 minutes. That's the goal. So unlike WagerTalk Today, you can do it real quick.
All right, Teddy.
Wow.
Go get to work there. Go get that. That was what you call a backhanded compliment, and that was well done out of Teddy. I will say,
shots fired.
I will say, it actually is a terrific show there. So on Teddy's Tips, you can check it out, folks. If you're subscribed, you're going to get notified when it gets dropped there. But he breaks it down in 3 different ways. So if you like, fading the public, he breaks down how the market is looking. If you like sharp plays, he has a wise guy play for you. If you like finding, hey, what did openers do and what are they at? Where's there still value? Teddy does it in 10 minutes. So 3 different ways for you to attack the NBA card. It's a great video. Teddy's Tips. Whether he thinks our show is too long or not, Andy.
That's the second shot that has been fired my way. Did you catch Gianni's
accidental
shot at me?
What did he hit you with?
I was asking, we were talking about moving lines on props, and I was like, when they open, I could move the prop. And he's like, yeah, you could. But later on, it takes sharps to move lines.
That's tough. It's tough.
Like, wow.
Yeah, it doesn't take Joe Schmo in his hoodie to move him. That was. He's like, yeah, you move him, Andy, but us big boys, we move them later in the day.
When the adults get to bet these, so it's an inadvertent shot across the bow, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So Dan, let's talk about what we have going on this weekend. We have a 5% UFC best bet that is up. We got 3 NASCAR bets. At the end of the show, we're gonna do all around the world free plays, and I'll go over the NASCAR race this season. I know we got some people that like betting NASCAR, and I'll go over some UFC props as well. But all of those are going on this weekend. We have our NBA best bets. Hockey's been good. On this show, we played Jordan Kyrou last night for a client play. That went well. So all these plays are going to be up for this weekend, and walk everybody through what lacrosse you're potentially going to have for this weekend.
Yeah, so this weekend, like we said, the Champion Series is going on. So it's going to be 2 games tomorrow, another 2 games on Sunday. So if we find value, Andy, we're going to fire. Like we said, I wasn't sure if I was going to love anything total spread. We saw that prop that came out, and it just came out way too high. So we sent that out to clients. So we got some college lacrosse action that's going tonight. Already 2 plays loaded for folks. So plenty of time or plenty of action that you'll be getting across the landscape from Andy and his team. So that 10-day access goes a long way, Andy.
Yeah, I've got a free NASCAR play that's going to be up on our page. We'll put a free lacrosse play. Yeah, we'll have some free plays. So if you want some free plays, go check any of those out. Also, if we have any daily golf plays, so a lot of good stuff going on for this weekend. So, all right, let's bring in Marco here.
Marco.
Hey guys, wait! I'm just putting a bet in. Max bet. Over 10 minutes on Teddy. Wait, they're not letting me put it in. There's too much action already. Okay.
Get his ass. Get his ass, Marco. See? Marco somehow has our back, but is also ripping us at the same time. It's well done, Marco. It's a good move out here.
Well, Teddy's saying in and out in 10 minutes and a show going long. That's the pot calling the kettle black. I'm sorry. I am totally sorry. I've been sitting here for 48 minutes waiting for my spot. But it's good. Bet the over on the 10 minutes. But it is a good show. All kidding aside, but it will be over 10 minutes. How are you guys?
Oh, we're excellent, man. We're doing great. A terrific Friday here. We're absolutely rolling, man. Like we said, we've been hitting all different kinds of hoops action here for the folks. So absolutely loving it, brother. So for you, we talked NBA. We got a little college basketball action. So let's get into it. Let's talk Michigan and Illinois. I know in this one you like the favorite, Marco. Why is that?
Well, we got Michigan. They're coming off a lackluster performance in their last game. Tuesday night, they were a 21.5-point favorite, and they only won by 10 over Minnesota. But, guys, that was to be expected. They were coming off that big game Saturday against Duke. Classic, big game. You come up short. There was a lot of hoopla with that game, national TV, 2 of the top teams in the country. And, they didn't lose the same game twice, but they were flat as a pancake. And why not? Because off that game, they had this game on deck, a Friday night Big Ten showdown, spotlight game, Friday night TV. So I can understand that performance from Michigan. We're going to get a better performance from them tonight. Now, Illinois, on the other hand, you're going to say, but Marco, they did the same thing. They had a lackluster performance in their last game. They only won by 1 in overtime against UCLA. No, I would have felt better if they would have played the UCLA game and struggled from start to finish, because then I would have said, yeah, they were looking ahead. They blew a 20-plus point lead in that game. And guys, if you were under a rock last week and didn't know what went on with UCLA, it was an absolute horrible spot for UCLA. They had so much turmoil going into that game, and Illinois had the big lead. How do you let a team come back that went through the week they did. And what I'm talking about is Mick Cronin ejected his own player in a game earlier in the week at Michigan State. The players weren't happy about it. They had every right to quit on Mick Cronin, and it looked like they did for the biggest part of that game. So I'm a little concerned about Illinois. I know they're a good team, 22-6, and if you look at those 6 losses, 5 of the 6 losses were by 4 points or less, and actually 3 of the 6 losses had to go to overtime to get the loss. But, Michigan, they're the best team in the country, in my opinion. I know Duke just beat them. Duke beat them with a stifling defense. I don't see Illinois being able to duplicate that. And Michigan's got a little bit of revenge. They've lost 4 straight to Illinois since 2023, but this is by far the best Michigan team we've seen. I'm going to go ahead and lay the modest number here. And I know VR talked about it earlier, seeing some money on Michigan. I was working on the games last night, and it was odd. I like to work late at night. It was like 12:30 Vegas time, and I saw the screen at Circa jump to 3 on Michigan. It wasn't there long because as soon as people saw the 3, they grabbed the Illinois at 3 when the rest of the market was 1.5. So there was some serious money come in last night on Michigan. The market now has settled itself down. We're seeing a lot of -2s, but I'll go ahead and lay it with Michigan.
Love it. We're laying the low number there. Even we're riding on the road there. That's Marco's thoughts. Marco, real quick, we're going to talk Akron and Kent State. But first, what do you have rocking over the weekend? We talked about Teddy's tips, obviously, on the channel. We have Marco's Deli that's continuing here that people have been really loving. Marco updates you, hey, if this play is still a play, if it's not a play, so you get to check back after you get the breakdown. So tell folks about that and also what clients are going to be having this weekend as we move forward.
Well, we've had 4-1 last week on the Deli, so be sure to check that out. We're hitting 60% for the season in college basketball for free on that Friday show. That'll be out early evening tonight. You can check that out. And then for my play today, I've got a big 4% in the Sun Belt Conference. Guys, we have been just rocking these 4% plays. 18-5 over our last 23, but it's not just the big plays, guys. We're on a 34-16 run over the last 22 days. We've made our clients over $4,600, number 2 at WagerTalk over that period. So check it out. Got Weekend Warrior you can grab. You can grab that 7-day package that actually gets you 10 days. Get 10 days for the price of 7, just $99. That's less than $10 a day. You'll get all of my plays. 3-0 sweep last night, highlighted by a 4% play. Check it out over at wagertalk.com.
Love it. That's Marco D'Angelo. WT.buzz/MD is where you can get there a little bit quicker. We got Rex checking in saying this feels like an Akron spot to me. Marco, I have a feeling you disagree a little bit as the Zips are taking on the Golden Flashes. How are you looking to break this one down?
Yeah, I'm looking at this one, and you've got the 2nd and 3rd place team in the MAC. Of course, they're behind Miami of Ohio, who is undefeated both in conference play and on the season. Kent State, they have just 3 conference losses. Akron has just 1, and of course, the 1 loss that Akron has was to Miami. But Kent State, one of their 3 losses was a 17-point loss at Akron. This is a revenge game. Now, I know I say revenge is one of the most overused terms in sports betting, but with these 2 teams, they lost by 17. These are true rivals. Their campuses are like 15, 20 miles apart from each other there in Ohio. So it is a big spot for them. And I'm looking at Kent State. They're coming off a major scare in their last game. They were a 10.5-point favorite, and they only won by 2, 83-81 against Central Michigan. What that tells me is they were looking ahead to this one, and it almost cost them. And I love taking a winning team that was a big favorite and had a scare because you're going to get their best effort in the next one. So we've got a team off a scare. We've got a rivalry game, home underdog, and we've got revenge. That all lands me on Kent State on a Friday night on ESPN. I'll go ahead and take Kent State This one should come right down to the wire. I have it basically as a 1 to 3 point game either way. I'll grab the points with Kent State, and I'm looking for the outright upset here.
Ooh, a little sprinkle on the money line, the outright upset. Andy, you know what that means. We get to bring back one of everyone's favorites that we have here, Marco. That is a candidate here for that.
And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Dog of the Golden Flashes. We've been waiting for it. We haven't gotten that in a couple days. So best of luck to you there, Marco. And comment below, folks. Let us know if we like the barking dog. And no, Marco, no resemblance between that dog and also I will say Kelly's not here to say, oh, it's just a little dog, Marco. It's 4 in a college basketball game. Let's go, baby.
Oh, thanks, Dad. You guys have a great week,
man. Every time they're ripping Marco, we're on Bet On It, and they force these guys to pick some dogs that they think are barking dogs. It's what we do every week. It's one of the most popular segments. And Marco's going to be taking a field goal dog in an NFL game, and Kelly's like, "Yeah, well, that's not a big enough dog." In the background, I'm always yelling. I'm like, "Put some respect on Marco's name, guys. Dog is a dog."
The moral of the story is, to Kelly, size does matter.
Yeah, well, to some people it does, Marco. To some people it does. But here on WagerTalk Today, as long as we're cashing, that's all we care about. So, Marco, always a pleasure, buddy. Best of luck with your action this weekend. And like Marco was saying, take advantage of some of those specials, wt.buzz/MD. Appreciate you, Marco. Thank you, man.
See you next week.
Have a good one. Yeah. See, I got Marco's back. Put some respect on the guy. He's dropping dogs here, folks. Let us know if you're riding with them. A little money line sprinkle. So does my Princeton getting a goal and a half and sprinkling on the money line? They're only a goal and a half. Like, it's a little teacup Yorkie, but that's a barking dog, Andy.
It's an underdog. Like,
an underdog is an underdog.
The definition, the non-favorite, the team, the individual that is not the favorite. Like, it does, yeah, like, it doesn't matter. So, before we do free plays, did you see what happened to that European golfer? Talk about the stuff that nightmares are made up. This is a horrible story. Shout out to Pavan. So earlier this week, it's not funny, but he's in his hotel. He comes out of his room, goes to the elevator, hits the button, the doors open, and he doesn't notice that the elevator malfunctioned and the car didn't come with it. So he steps out into an empty elevator shaft and falls 3 stories into an empty elevator shaft. God. Breaks his back, breaks his shoulder, somehow survived, and had to, like, can you imagine the elevator doors open
and you're just like, you're texting on your phone? Yeah, that was like,
it's the craziest thing, craziest thing I have ever heard of. So shout out to him. He's going to be okay, but man, I don't know if he'll be able to play golf ever again. I mean, the good news is he's not going to worry about money the rest of his life when that lawsuit gets settled. All right, let's do some Evan. Come on, Evan.
Oh, Evan. Oh, Evan. My guy.
You're going to hell, Evan.
Yeah. We'll see you there. We'll see you there, but you're definitely going.
We'll see you there in a few years. So, all right. I got 2 free plays. That's not it, Dan.
This is the wrong one?
Yeah, that one's from like way.
Oh, yeah. Is there
way?
This is from 1922. All right, Andy, give me 1 second here. How about this one that actually is 2 free plays?
There you go.
Keep me on my toes.
We'll go to that. We'll go to the aforementioned Net Celtics and do Nick Claxton over 10.5 points. He's gone over in 6 straight, 3 games since the All-Star break. He's getting 9 field goal attempts, shooting 67% from the field. Adds a couple free throws per game. It is a tough matchup, but I'm riding the streak with Nick Claxton here. And then here's a plus 178 that I don't think is catching up with recent trends. Kyle Kuzma, over 1.5 made threes. He's gone over in 3 out of 4 games since the All-Star break. But here's the key. The last 2 games, 7 and 10 attempts. You get me 7 and 10 attempts, and I get plus 178 on over threes. Yeah, I'll take it. Buck's probably playing from behind in this one, so look for Kyle Kuzma at a plus 178 as a nice little sprinkle. So, We also got a good NASCAR race. I'll go over that. The racing at COTA. It's the first non-restrictor plate / pack racing track. It's a road course. Shane Van Gisbergen is the best road course driver probably in the history of NASCAR. He is plus 120 to win the race, and you're going, wow, I plus 170 or plus 125 just to win the race. Yeah, I think it's playable. This was the only road course he didn't win last year, and the key is he's going to be racing in the Xfinity race the day before. He's going to get to know this track even better because they made a couple changes there. So I would look at him to win. I also like Chris Buescher as the top Ford at plus 160. He's by far the best road course racer in a Ford. The rest of the Ford drivers, this is just not their cup of tea. They just try and get in and get out without causing too much damage to their cars. So those are a couple I like. And then in UFC, Gianni and I were talking about how do you attack some of these lines. You heard Kyle Anthony say, look in the main event. If you like Moreno, play him by finish. There's a few other guys I think you could play by finish or take some props on. So we'll go over these. Douglas Silva de Andrade has never been knocked out, and he's fighting a guy named Javier Reyes, who is just an absolute torpedo. I don't think Reyes is very good, but de Andrade is 41 years old now. We saw last weekend, Dan Ige had never been knocked out. He suffered his first knockout loss. At some point, age just catches up to you. Reyes is going to come flying out like a cannon. So Reyes by knockout would be an interesting one. I'm surprised we're getting under 1.5 rounds at plus money in the Quinones Chris Moutinho fight. Chris Moutinho, he's kill or be killed. And in UFC, he's killed. I think Quinones knocks him out early. The guy just has no durability left. And then whoever you like in the Perez Chiasson fight, just take it by decision. I think we talked about that one. And then I also like the under 1.5 in the Ryan Gandra Jose Medina fight. Ryan Gandra used to be a heavyweight. Now he's dropped down, and he hits so hard, Dan. This guy absolutely clubs over the head, and Jose Medina is one of the worst UFC fighters to ever grace the roster. Like one of the worst. He's truly one of the worst. So he's on this card because he's Mexican and they're in Mexico, and this will be his. Thanks, Jose. We'll see you later. So other than the top for you in UFC, he is, man. He's bad. He was on Contender Series and he got his ass kicked on Contender Series, and Dana White was like, I got a feeling about this guy. We'll give him a contract. And all of the matchmakers that were there were like, no. So he's come in and he's lost every single UFC fight.
Yikes.
He's god awful.
Not ideal.
Yeah, it's bad. So, I think that's it, guys. Thank you very much, and thanks to all the guests. Great week of shows. Dan's got a big weekend of lacrosse. So if you want to hop on board, go over to wt.buzz/AL. And big week of plays, fights, races, props. We got you covered there. And great work, chat. You guys just kicked ass this week. So, again, comment below after the show is over with your WagerTalk username. After the show is over. And whoever you like, Andy or Teddy, and then whoever wins, we'll pick a free 3-day pass. Everyone that's won a 3-day pass should be in your system right now. So thanks very much, guys. Please hit the like button. Really helps the algorithm out. Dan, let's have a big weekend, brother. Let's go. It all starts
I'm ready,
today.
man. I'm locked and loaded. And also, real quick, Andy, before we shut things down, want to remind folks, if you haven't already checked out Becoming a WagerTalk Insider, this weekend, the Steam room that is going with VR is his long-term clients. So that's 30 days or more, or WagerTalk Insiders only. So that's going this weekend following last call. WT.buzz/insiders is how you can be a part of it. Really low price point. You get access to, member only events like that. And any video that goes live on the channel as it's processing in the back end, you get to see it. So you get in front of some of those line moves. Super low price point. Great way to get some free content or, some behind the scenes content, a little bit of extra stuff. WT.buzz/insiders. And Andy, are you going live tomorrow for UFC 4:30 tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll be live. We'll see if there's any line changes. We'll get you ready last second for the UFC card. And for those of you that watch our live show, we go over to the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. We watch all the UFC fights live. We do taste tests every UFC show.
Love that.
Yeah, we're doing Nachos Fiesta. So if you want, we're just making some incredible nachos. So if you want to join us, go get your best. Yes, go get your best nachos dish. We're going to be eating nachos all night watching UFC Mexico. I cannot wait for that one. But yes, we will be live on the WagerTalk channel about a half hour before the UFC event to go over any props, any last second line moves, things like that before we get into live betting and such. So great show. Thanks guys very much. We'll be back same time, same place on Monday to get you ready for a new week. Good luck on all your bets. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.